Good morning and welcome to today's Coffee with Craig. We very much appreciate you guys tuning in and helping us as we talk about firearms policy, Second Amendment advocacy, movies, politics, you name it, all relating to the Second Amendment. So please take a moment to like and share these videos so that your friends can join in the conversation as it's happening. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook so that you can get the alerts as it is happening. Also, if you want to just listen to the show, we also have a podcast available. If you follow the link in the description of this video, you can find us and find all of the places where you can find us. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, at least 9 different places where you can find Coffee with Craig, an audio file, and it'll push it automatically to you if you prefer to listen to podcasts. So please make it a point to do that, support us, and help to get the word out. Also, remember to go to fpcgear.com. That's fpcgear.com. Cool place to go and buy T-shirts, knowing that every penny that you spend there is going to go right back into the fight for our right to keep and bear arms. All right, so let's talk about today's topic. Once again, it seems a never-ending thing, but we're going to be talking once again about 3D printed firearms. And this time, here's what's interesting about it is, so you guys already know. So there was a thing between Defense Distributed and Cody Wilson. They went after him because he wanted to print plans for his 3D printed gun, the Liberator, online. And they went after him, and they said, no, you cannot do that. This is the Obama administration. They went after him, said, no, you cannot do that. What they used was the thing that's called ITARs, which is an international firearms trade agreement, which restricts what firearms can be sold or transferred or whatever it is internationally. Well, in comes the Trump administration, and they sit down and they take a look at everything, and they decide, yeah, no, we're going to settle this case because ITARs should not and should never have applied to this particular firearm. So they made a settlement as of supposedly August 1st, 2018. Those plans were supposed to be made available by Defense Distributed online, and then along comes Bob Ferguson, the Attorney General from the state of Washington, to institute to get a temporary restraining order. He filed a lawsuit saying, no, you cannot do this. No, you cannot do this. And so they sought to institute a restraining order preventing the publication of these blueprints. Since then, other organizations led by the Firearms Policy Coalition and launched websites, in this case, codeisfreespeech.com, actually publishing the blueprints for a number of firearms online, and well, that puts us where we are today. Now, recently, the Judge Robert Lasik, he's in the state of Washington. He's a federal judge. This is the guy who put in place a temporary restraining order preventing Defense Distributed from being able to put these plans online. Well, he heard the case and he kind of heard oral arguments, and it's kind of interesting what's really has come out of it. One of the things that was done was there was actually a filing took place. And in this filing, Attorney General Jeff Sessions and his office pretty much just noted that anyone who thinks that anyone who questions why the federal government settled this lawsuit knows absolutely nothing about the topic, which, by the way, we know it's nothing new for the anti-gun community, for them to talk about things that they have, well, no idea about. Things about which they are ignorant, they have absolutely no problem talking about. What they did was, in the case, they actually issued a 26-page brief, all right? So now, in this particular brief, they made it a point to note more than a few things. And there were a couple of things that they wanted to make sure that people understood and kind of make clear as to why they made the decision that they made. Because keep in mind, the injunction that is in place is not against, the temporary injunction restraining order is not or temporary injunction is not against Defense Distributed. It's against the federal government, and it's keeping the federal government from being able to act upon the settlement that had taken place. Meaning, ITARS is now going to rule, and they're not supposed to put it out there, meaning requiring them to enforce something that they know that they shouldn't be able to enforce. So one of the things that was noted, and we'll go here. This was from U.S. Attorney Annette Hayes. One of the things that was noted in this particular case was that the government notes that the possibility of manufactured small caliber firearms from a 3D printing process has been publicly discussed since 2013. Now, why is that relevant, you ask? It's relevant because what she's noting here is that this stuff is already out there. I mean, this is exactly what Cody Wilson has been saying. If you listen to him, he's been saying the plans have already been out there and been available online. They started in 2013, and anybody who knows anything about the internet, once you put something out there, it's out there. And it is going to stay out there. In fact, even now, one of the things that we know even now is that even though Defense Distributed is prevented from being able to put this information out there, other folks, including the Firearms Policy Coalition, has put it out there. And guess what? Go there right now. CODISFreeSpeech.com is still up. It's still there. The information is literally thousands of terabytes have already been downloaded. The information has gone everywhere. It's already out there because you can't stop the signal. But once again, you have legislators who really don't understand. They don't understand technology. They don't understand any of the stuff about which they are trying to regulate, right? Speaking of regulations, one of the other things that was noted in this particular document was that it was talking about, it says, has no authority to we have no authority to restrict, the government has no authority to restrict, that was easy for me to say, U.S. persons from sharing these files with other U.S. persons within the United States. Right? So here it is, you have the federal government saying that. Now, why are they saying that? Well, earlier you heard me mention ITARS. ITARS is federal legislation. It's the International Traffic in Arms Regulations. It's something that has been in place since the 1970s. But the thing here is that it deals with the international trading of firearms. But there is absolutely nothing that prevents them from being able to do this right here with anybody in the United States. ITARS does not apply to anybody in the United States. Not only that, it deals with military-grade weapons. And one of the things that is noted, that was noted in the original settlement, in the settlement that was put in place, was that 3D firearms and the other firearms that are listed, which are all semi-automatic, are not military-grade weapons. They're not military weapons. Therefore, they're not for use by the military. So therefore, ITARS really shouldn't apply. Now, mind you, you currently have right now, you have a justice who really doesn't want to hear this case. What it is, and it's kind of funny because he said in an article that, well, this is something that really the executive and the legislative branches really need to deal with. And the fact is they dealt with it. The executive said, this is our position. Why? I don't understand exactly what it is the judge is saying in terms of it's their job. But yeah, it's their job, and they're saying, yeah, this is not ours to regulate. There's not legislation. There's no laws that are in place that prevents this information from being shared. There's absolutely nothing. Nothing. It is a big nothing burger. Even though they come out and even though they're trying to claim that, well, this is about firearms that are being made available to people here in the United States who may or may not be able to utilize them. Well, first of all, understand that these are plans that are out there, meaning they could be made available by any other means. They could be mailed to somebody. They could be handed to somebody. They could be put on a flash drive and they could be emailed to somebody. I mean, there's tons of different ways in which this information could be shared. So all you're doing is you're saying, well, you can't share it this way. Well, I'm sorry, but If you don't want that to be the case, then you have to pass a law. There is no law preventing that. Absolutely none. There's no law that says you are restricted and you can share it this way, this way, this way, but not this way. There's no law saying that you can't share it. That's what's so nuts is these people don't even, what's worse is here is Bob Ferguson, who's supposed to be an attorney general, meaning you're assuming he's an attorney. He's the top law enforcement official in the state of Washington. You have 19 other states that have joined in, including the District of Columbia, including our own California's own Javier Becerra. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call him Javi. I'm sure that's something that's a nickname that's reserved for those who are close to him. Ain't that right, Javi? Oh, I just did it again. Anyway, but these are people who should, I don't know the law, but we clearly know they don't know the law. And they're about to get smacked down. Now, this guy, Mr. Lassick, he's in the Ninth Circuit. We all know kind of how the Ninth Circuit tends to fall on issues like these. Tends not to go well. But we know that eventually this is going to make it to the Supreme Court. And when it makes it to the Supreme Court, we shall see. But at this point, right now, guess what is happening, ladies and gentlemen? This information is still out there. It is still available. And Cody Wilson is, he's still winning. In the very beginning, I love what he said. He said, look, the information's out there. We're arguing over something that has already happened. He's like, I will not adjust my beliefs and my values, my reality based on your whims and based on your ignorance. It is. Deal with it. Yes, that is the truth. It is. We're not talking about putting information out there on 3D printing firearms. The information's already out there. We're not talking about putting information out there about how to manufacture firearms at home. The information is already out there. Thousands of people every year are manufacturing firearms at home. Now, their concerns are, well, these are untraceable guns. Well, guess what? Yeah, it's legal, though. You want to pass a law that says people can't manufacture firearms at home? Good luck. But it's already legal. And by the way, let's just be very clear. Even if it were illegal, the information is already out there. Those who seek to do harm, those who are looking to implement or conduct an act of terrorism, or those who are looking to commit a crime against somebody, if they want to get one of these, it's already out there. And guess what? They are not going to obey the law. They are not going to say, gee, it's against the law for me to go and manufacture at home a weapon so that I can go and rob a bank. Okay, criminals tend to be stupid. They are generally not that stupid. Just saying. Between you and I, they're generally not that stupid. But that's the case. The case is they are already out there. In fact, the idea of 3D printing, and we talked about this actually just yesterday with Drew Walker from Walker Research. The thing is that the ability to manufacture firearms utilizing computer technologies has already been out there. The CNC machine, which kind of works on a different premise. The 3D printing actually builds up and adds to, whereas things like a CNC machine take pieces of metal that are in various stages of becoming a firearm or a firearm part and actually takes away from that. So, like when you have the 80% lowers or zero, they start off at 0% lowers and then they turn them into 80% lowers. And you guys know what I'm talking about. But there are things that are out there that make it available for you to be able to do that. In fact, a number of them are right there on our website. They actually go with what's called the Ghost Gun. The Ghost Gunner, well, now there's the Ghost Gunner 2. But these are boxes that are basically milling machines available. They cost about $1,500, something like that. And they make it so that you can mill out or manufacture over a certain period of time certain firearms. And it's right there. It's in the information, the data is right there available for download. You can purchase them online. Now, they have a back order, but you have the ability to be able to do that. But one thing I did want to note that you guys probably want to know about is if you guys want to join us and be a part of our fight as we fight for not just your First Amendment, not just your Second Amendment rights, but also your First Amendment rights, you know what? You can become a member of the Firearms Policy Coalition, and you can actually be entered to win one of these Ghost Gunner machines. Now, right now, memberships are only $5. I'm just going to tell you right now, it costs us more for you to be a member than $5. So what we're saying, what I'm telling you is this: we just want you to be a part. We want you to be on the team. That's all we want. We just want you to be on the team. So for $5, you get entered to win. You enter. You get one of the. You're entered in to win one of these Ghost Gunner 2s, and then those plans that you've already downloaded. A lot of those plans that you've already downloaded, not for the Liberator, but for the other firearms. Guess what? Yeah, just saying. I'm not saying. Just saying. So please make it a point. Join the Firearms Policy Coalition. Just go to firearmspolicy.org/FB, and you will find it. You'll find it right there. Become a member. Become a member today. All right. It's important. Look, I realize you guys are listening to these videos, and that's great. I appreciate you guys listening, but we need you to be a part of the fight. We need you to be members. We need you to share this information. When we have a call to action, we need you to participate in that call to action. If you guys can afford to kick us down a few bucks, to help us in the fight, we need you to help us in the fight. We cannot do this alone. We need your help. And so that's why we do things like this, to provide you guys an incentive, kind of nudge you who are thinking about it, kind of nudge you guys to get involved in the fight. Anyway, folks, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. Once again, we very much appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you guys liking and sharing these videos, telling your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them. You guys take care.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.